Characteristics thus of. There's been a lot of whitewashing and switching up of perception and the illusion of what the history of what we've been taught in life, as we have been growing to learn that everything has been fashioned and a lie. So I want to read today out of the Tanakh about the characteristics and the traits and the attributes that thus of those carry, so you can know who these people are, these people of Babylon. Who is Babylon, and what nation represents the mystery Babylon? What are the characteristics and the traits that have been carried over to give you the illusion of perception, of the daughter of the Chaldeans? What is the daughter of the Chaldeans? Who is the daughter of Babylon? Who is this mystery Babylon? This daughter of Babylon, what does that represent? Daughter means, if back in those days, if anybody was to say, you are the son of Yesef, that would mean that that bloodline and everything that that bloodline represented would carry down to that son, as we see in the genealogy of the Old and the New Testament. If it is said that a daughter carries over, oh, you are the daughter country of England, America is the daughter country of England, that means that it is not the son. It doesn't inherit everything that England has. It is the daughter of. It carries the characteristics and the attributes of everything that the mother country carries. So understand that, because when you give your daughter away unto a man, he's not picking up all of her ways. You're giving her up because she is going unto his family, under him, to pick up his ways. So that's one thing that we need to understand, the etymology and the attributes of what all these meaning and phrases mean. So with that being said, Isaiah chapter 47:1, get down, sit in the dust, fair maiden Babylon, sit dethroned on the ground, O fair Chaldea. Nevermore shall you be called dainty, the dainty one. Grasp the handmill and the grind mill, remove your veil, strip your train, bare your legs, wade through the waters and the rivers. And your nakedness shall be uncovered, and your shame shall be exposed. I will take vengeance and let no man intercede. O our Redeemer, Lord of hosts, is his name, is the Holy One of Israel. Sit silent, retire into darkness, O fair Chaldea. Nevermore shall be called the mistress of the kingdoms. What does that mean? The attributes have been carried over. All right, this was talking about, and Isaiah had made a prophecy unto a group of people. The Chaldeans, they reigned with the grace of God for a little while, and they were a Semitic people. Chaldea, where the Canaanites were, all of that was Iraq, Iran, Syria, and Israel. All right, that was back in the Mesopotamia, the Babylonian times. So the attributes of these people being Semitic, these were Semitic people that have broken into groups. All right, you had your Semitic nomadic people, and then you had your Semitic people. Later on down the road of the seed of Jacob, then that's when you have your split. So to break up how these groups and these haplogroups work is sort of like having the Romans. The Romans break off into the Italians. The Italians might have started off as the Neapolitan Italians, and then from there they switched up, moved into different regions, and then you had your Neapolitan, and then you had your Sicilian. We have the same thing with the Irish community. You have your nomadic Irish, you have your Celtics, and so on and so forth. So this goes on to say that in every culture and every race, there's a division of different kinds and different cultures. So we need to know who these people are and what is being said. What is being said is that a lot of this stuff that is written was written for that time. And since it happened so much in that region, that we have Babylon, we have 10 different incidents that had happened in Babylon. So Babylon and in Egypt, all that the Middle East and Northern region was used as a characteristic for what something was done. If a woman did something that had the characteristics of Jezebel, she was referred to as Jezebel. We see the Statue of Liberty being used in the etymology of it, being called the whore of Babylon. Why? Because that statue really was, through prophecy, without even this person knowing, was the Isis, was the goddess of fertility, and all this other stuff of sex and everything else. I put this in the video. So with all the etymology and the characteristics that are behind these things are the true meaning. So this is why we must break everything down, peel back the lies in order to get to the seed of the truth, to know what it is, because it's spirit, because on the outside it's worldly. To you it may not mean anything, but that seed is the spiritual seed that feeds what you are, what you do, what your attributes, your characteristics and your personality is in the end. 48:14. Assemble all of you. Assemble all of you and listen. Who among you foretold these things? He whom the Lord loves shall work his will against Babylon and his might against the Chaldea. I predicted and I called him. I have brought him and he shall succeed in his mission. Draw me near and hear this. From the beginning I did not speak in secret. From the time anything existed, I was there. And now the Lord has sent me endowed with his spirit. Thus said the Lord, your Redeemer, O Israel, I the Lord am your God. Instruct you for your own benefit. Guide you in the way that you should go. If only you would heed my commands, when your prosperity would be like a river, your triumph like the waves of the sea, your offspring would be as many as the sand. Their issue has many as its grains. Their name would be never cut off or obliterated from before me. Go forth from Babylon, flee from Chaldea. Declare this with a loud shouting. Announce this, bring the word to the ends of the earth. Say, the Lord has redeemed his servant Jacob. They have known no thirst. Though he led them through parched places, he made water flow for them from a rock, and he cleaved the rock, and the water gushed forth. There is no safety, said the Lord, for the wicked. So with that being said, if you are from England and you were born in America, but your family's from England, you are an American, but your family are Englishmen. So even the Bible called, and God, even Yahweh called Abraham a Chaldean. Even though he was from Ur, and his family was from Ur, and he lived and all that stuff in Chaldea, he was a Chaldean from Chaldea. All the Chaldeans were Semitic people. There was a split. We got that out the way. The characteristics of these people, everything that ever happened in Babylon from the beginning, from Nebuchadnezzar, with the Chaldeans, through the time of 70 AD, all of this stuff, the same characteristics were the same characteristics before this stuff happened that were in Sodom and Gomorrah, Tower of Babel, the times of Noah. With all of these characteristics being played out, Babylon is being used. Even when you listen to Bob Marley, all right, he speaks about Babylon, and he speaks about Exodus, prudent of Jah people, and all that other stuff. Why? Because those are the characteristics and the signs that were left in these people to remember. Want me to speak? And this is a real good trait of an imprint on a lot of people's hearts, minds, and soul, which their chromosomes and DNA have carried over. How many times, and I gotta say this because I love Brooklyn so much. Go downtown Brooklyn, even if you're not from America. If you ever go to downtown Brooklyn, New York, you will always see the little stands with the old black women, and they always play Go Tell It on the Mountain. I went to the lady and I asked her, why? I said, have you ever been to the mountain? And she said no. So I said, if our ancestors were in the cotton fields, picking cotton and doing all this other stuff, made up that song and was singing it, and they never been to no mountain because there wasn't no mountains in no cotton field, I would like to know, where did that song come from? I don't know, it must have been some imprint or something. Like, all right, so you just said it was an imprint, and an imprint of something that they knew that was inside of them, that they sang, that they were a part of, even though they weren't there. This song came out. Now we go to all the songs of Moses and all the rejoicing songs and the Exodus and the songs that they sang when they was coming out of Egypt, and then look at today of the sorrows and the songs that are being sung in the churches and even in R&B. So we need to look at characteristics and traits. Now let's go back to the Babylonian thing. Let's look at, I shall bring you back into Egypt on ships. Now if we look at the obelisk that Carnegie and Rockefeller took out of Egypt and put one in London and one in America in Central Park, now we look at the characteristics and the traits of these two countries that have carried the democracy and the taxes and all this other stuff that was passed down from Egypt to Rome to Greece. I mean, that until now we see the characteristics. If we see the characteristics of what happened in Sodom and Gomorrah, Tower of Babel, and in the times of Noah, to what is going on right now, we see the characteristics of Babylon in another country. So what we need to do is we need to start seeing the attributes and the characteristics that something carries, and then you start getting the answer and start believing into the one true God. For I come only with the word of Yeshua, and that he gave the same thing as the law of Moses of the one true God, because there's only him. I mean, there's only through Yeshua as a sacrifice for our sins. All right, and the Messiah shall we even pray, hear, or have Yahweh, bless us. So look at the characteristics and what they are and what is being shown, because everything on the outside isn't what it seems. And remember, the first is last and the last shall be first.